Okay, great. I'm just making sure that. Okay, just making sure that it's like being recorded. Yeah. Okay, we're good. All right. Hi everyone. Welcome to I think episode 4 of Zai Rambles with, and this time, on my talk show we're talking with
Chizoba. Yeah, I'm a lifestyle blogger and the co-founder of a magazine called Dark Hues. So yeah.
Yeah, like and tell us a little bit more about yourself. Like what you do, why you're doing it, you know, what motivates you to get up in the morning.
I think basically in terms of lifestyle blogging, I started that probably like in 2018 with a blog, ended the blog and then started it up again. And yeah, and then I started to do like Instagram. I've pretty much everything started in 2018. And I just wanted to do it because I thought it was really cool, really fun. I talked to myself a lot. So I was like, why not do a blog basically?
Mm-hmm.
And I think over the years, I've started to realize it was a really good hobby to have, especially last year during the pandemic, because I came to realize if I didn't have it, then what would I be doing with my spare time? Like I would be like really, really bored. So yeah. And then the magazine called Dark Hues. Dark Hues is basically a magazine for dark skinned non-cis men. So for women, non-binary people and trans men. And yeah, this is for both black and brown people. And I did it with my co-founder Vima because of the lack of representation. So it's kind of like equity in a way, trying to show faces that you really don't get to see on a regular basis. Like the representation is poor when it comes to them. So yeah, and that's pretty much it really.
Yeah.
And I just do lifestyle blogging because I'm indecisive.
Mm-hmm.
So I was
What
like,
do you mean?
lifestyle covers a broad. I can't do one topic. I just can't stick to one topic. So I was like, let's do lifestyle because I can talk about pretty much everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it wouldn't be weird to talk about it because I didn't brand myself as like a makeup or hair blogger, you know. I just said
Yes, that's
lifestyle.
true.
So
Definitely.
yeah.
Definitely. Sorry, I'm eating sweets at the same time. But so today Chizoba and I chose to talk about the diversity that's in the TV shows. Excuse me? Did you say something?
Yeah, I did. I said it's Chizoba.
Chizoba.
Yeah.
Chizoba. So today, Chizoba and I decided to talk about diversity in the TV show Shadow and Bone. So, what were like your first thoughts? What were like your first opinion when you started watching like the first episode?
I was intrigued by the trailer basically because I like fantasy and adventure. But at the same time, I was like, I liked it, but I felt like I was like, some things are like not really convincing enough for me. Like, I think, especially when it came to the main character and people pointing out her difference, I was like, there's no difference. Like, what difference does she have? Like, it needs to be something evident, you know? And like, she didn't look much different to everyone else, especially like the extras, because they were predominantly white. So I was like, how is she different from everyone else?
So what do you mean? Do you mean that she didn't look like East Asian?
No, more so the case that like, well, yeah, she is East Asian, the actress, but she's white passing, so you wouldn't have known if like she would have told you. And I
Mm-hmm.
think the thing is like you need to give her either a physical difference, like not one that's offensive, but something that stands out so we know you're different.
Mm-hmm.
Because the other character, Inej, right? It made sense because everyone could tell exactly who she was.
Which character?
Um, she, the South Asian girl,
Oh
or
yes,
Southeast
yes,
Asian girl.
yes, yes.
Yeah, so when they were saying you're Suli, I was like, of course it makes sense. Like, look at her. Like, she, she physically looks like she's a person of color, so she looks different,
Mm-hmm.
and she's, like she's a dark skinned like person of color. You would instantly be able to be like, yeah, she sticks out like a sore thumb in like a Western country, right? But how does I forgot her name, but
So
like the
like the
main
protagonist.
yeah, she doesn't really stick out,
Mm-hmm.
to be honest. She doesn't look different from everyone else. They're like your eyes. And I was like, yeah, I can see it with her eyes, but it's not really that convincing. If you got someone
Mm-hmm.
who was darker, per se, like, what's a good example? Like the main actress from All the To All the Boys I Loved Before,
I've loved. Yes, yes. I mean,
that would
but
make more.
yeah, and that's true. And she's half Korean in the TV show.
But the difference between her and this character, even though she was half Korean in there, she wasn't white passing. So it was like, yeah, we can tell you're Asian. You don't
Mm-hmm.
blend in with your friends. You don't blend in
Yeah.
with your father. We can instantly tell. But you're white passing. Like you really could pass for white, and we wouldn't know whether you're a person of color or not. So trying to emphasize that difference, I was like, it's not convincing enough, especially if they're hinting that she is supposed to be Asian, like in the show. Because I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if they explicitly made it clear if she was. So it's like, are you hinting that she's Asian or are you not East Asian? And even then, it's like, how could you even tell? Like just from looking at her.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Right. No, definitely. Because when it's true that she doesn't seem obviously, and it's not evident that she's like East Asian, but they do say, because like in the world of Shadow and Bone, like you have like different kingdoms, right? And they do say like, oh, she's from Shu, and Shu is like where all the East Asian people are, I guess. um for me, I think let's talk about some obvious stuff in this TV show. Something that really pulled me to actually watch it is when I saw that Ben Barnes was going to be in it. Because Narnia 2, Prince Caspian, we all remember it, and even after so many years, he's still a snack. Yeah.
I do agree, and he did a really good job in the role. Like, I was like, you
Yeah.
fit fantasy genres, to be honest. Like, this is just your area. You pulled it off really well. Like, I did not and it was scary because I was like, oh, are we going to like you? Because you pulled it off really well
Yeah.
as a
Yeah.
likable character until we found out how much of a dickhead you really were, really.
Yeah.
And I was like, you even pulled that off too, which is like, like, I don't know. I was like, oh, you're going to be a pretty decent character, but that was disappointing. But it is what it is. But like, I do agree. Like, he did look good in black. I won't lie.
Yeah, no, he definitely did. And I think that, he did a really good job. And then also, like, you know, from the first episode, like, I don't know, anyone who hasn't watched it or anyone who has, from the first episode, I was like, okay, this is gonna be a love triangle. And even though you finish the season, you might actually maybe doubt that there's going to be like a love triangle. Like, I'm reading the second book now, and yes, it's becoming very interesting. It's just because how like I think we're always like attracted to opposite in some kind of way, and they're literally opposite, the protagonist and the character, like the Darkling that he plays. Darkling, basically Ben Barnes is like a villain in this TV show, which is very special and interesting because he doesn't usually like, yeah.
Yeah, there's only one time he did, and that was in The Punisher. But that was it.
Yes, yeah,
Like,
yeah,
and
yeah.
that
No.
was new as well because oh, and Dorian Gray. I didn't watch
Yes,
Dorian Gray,
Dorian Gray. Yeah, Dorian Gray. He was a villain
but
as
like I
well, but not completely. He was like a torture villain.
yeah, that one that was a bit weird because we didn't expect him to be a good person anyway in Dorian Gray. But
Yeah.
like I this one really shocked me because I was like, oh, maybe you actually be a decent person because it's like just because you're wearing all black, that doesn't mean anything. Like, but
No,
still,
definitely.
it was just, I don't know. I guess I was quite sad because I was like, oh, I wouldn't have minded them getting together, but it's alright.
I still have hope. I still have hope. But
He's
yeah,
done too much damage. Like
even
he literally
though
he
he might.
widened.
No, but he might, like when the villain or like the very bad guy is like, I'm gonna change for you, it's gonna be different now,
It's
like that
still
might actually get her.
maybe, but like he's done too much damage. He's just done too much damage, not just to her, but the rest of the world, and for the other Grecians now.
Yeah. So
One thing you try to avoid, you caused.
yes, definitely, yeah, it's true. But we'll see. I'm gonna finish all the books and I'll tell you about it. But yeah, no, so the Grisha are basically like the people who have like superpowers. So like just in the summary, what Shadow and Bone is like they live in this world where there are Grisha and then just normal people, and Grisha are basically people with like superpowers, and they had this like fire, air, I think earth as well, and then you have like summoners, and summoners are like very very special people, and then you have the darklings, so the character that Ben Barnes is playing, that's he summons darkness and shadow and all of that, and then you have Alina, which is the protagonist, and she, I'm not going to say what she is. I'm not going to say, but I said opposites attract, So guess what it is? Comment below. Which one do you think it is? But yeah, like talking more about diversity, I thought it was weird that she was the only East Asian in the whole season. I was like, yeah, the protagonist is East Asian, so shouldn't there be like, more people
More.
from her country?
Yeah. Yeah,
You
like
know?
where were they? I was like, where are the shoe? You keep mentioning the shoe, we never see the shoe. And we don't
Mm-hmm.
even get to see the Suli people too. Like, where are both of them? Like, you keep mentioning them, but you don't show them. And I think it's like, it wasn't, I like the series, but they could have done better with the character development and the plot. Like first
Definitely.
and foremost, like her and Mao's relationship, Alina and Mao. We
Yeah.
don't know much about them, and we didn't get to see much of their interactions together. Obviously,
Yes.
they were apart. So I'm like, fair enough. But like even then, like there's no flashbacks. Like there's
Mm-hmm.
nothing. There wasn't enough. And it's like I'm not really how you're not convincing me that they're like supposed to be really good friends when
Yeah.
all you do is just show their past. But like, can you just show
Um, the only
like
thing
you,
they showed
yeah? And then
was like one like memory from their childhood and everything, that they always
that's
go
it.
back to and refer to, but that was it. That was
Yeah, it's
it.
like what about now? Whereas the Dread Gang, yeah, like they obviously they got to be together more, so we'll get to see more of their interactions. But it's like we got to see the chemistry between them, and I was like, you're not convincing me
Yeah.
Alina and Mao are very close when you don't they don't look like they're close. Like
Yes. Yes.
they
Exactly.
don't. And they have
And
the
I think,
potential for chemistry.
yeah, they do. They do. They definitely do. Because I'm reading the books right now, and like it's actually quite yeah. I thought that because they show like a little version of Mao, like when he was younger, and I'm like what are his origin? Is it supposed to be mixed, or you know,
Mm, that's the
like
other
that
thing.
was a little bit weird. And he just, yeah.
I think the other thing is that, no offense, this is gonna sound terrible, but like, if you're going to talk about them physically being different, you need to make it obvious. You know, you picked two white passing actors and you're supposed to make the viewers believe that they're very different and outcasts. That's not realistic. That doesn't work. Either give them like some sort of difference where it's like you can tell instantly, like, you know, you don't have to recast them, but like give them a difference, you know, where like their hair is like a unique color, that they've got unique eyes, right? Or cast people who physically do look different. Well, not really look like, cast people of color, basically. Because, and I say this specifically because, like, obviously, like in the global south, there would be the majority, but because
Mm-hmm.
most of the cast here and the extras are white, like you have to pick people who will stick out like a sore thumb. And that's why it was more believable with the dread gang, because like there was a black boy and then there was like a south or south asian or southeast asian, but like a person of like the girl who's a person of color, um and both of them stuck out like sore thumbs. So it was like, okay, like it makes sense that people could instantly recognize Inej's character, right? Because Inej literally like looks, not, I wouldn't say she looks unique, but she's a person of color, you know?
Yeah, yeah. And
Like,
I think her character, guys, remember this, Inesh, her character is so empowering. I feel
yeah,
like she's got like a much better mindset than the protagonist. I feel like the protagonist is kind of like, she
boring.
just isn't, no, she's not boring. She's constantly like living in fear, you know, and like, you know, when she's got like opportunities present to her, she's like, oh, but no, like I don't want, like she's constantly looking into the past instead of actually reveling into the woman that she is, you know.
I
I just
didn't
like,
think I don't think they wrote her character that well, in my opinion, in comparison to
really.
Inej. Yeah, I really think they could have wrote. I don't blame the actress; she did a good job, but like I kind of blame the writers because I was like, you like if Mal and Alina are like one of the main characters, you need to make them interesting. And even Mal was a lot more capable than like Alina, even though Alina has a lot of power. Like
Mm,
they really did not, they didn't know. Like if Anish was the main character, then I would have been like, yeah, like the main character. Like I would have
yeah.
been like, great, like this is amazing. And it's kind of disappointing because I literally watched like a drama, no, yeah, I watched Avatar, and
Mm,
you know, and I watched The Legend of Korra, and Korra, you know, had a lot of power too, and was way more capable in comparison to Alina, which is quite
mm,
sad because it's like you, they just kind of made her, they didn't try to make her interesting to. I feel like she didn't have much of a personality as well. They just kind of made her just, yeah, it was all about suffering, like that she's different. She grew up, you know, like um
an
you know, like in
orphanage,
orphan,
yeah.
yeah, like there wasn't there wasn't anything. Where was her personality? That was her and Miles' relationship. They were both different and they grew up unfortunate, and that's it, you know. Whereas Inej, like Inej went for a similar experience, but like she's an acrobat. Like she, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah, that's
like
because,
her and
you know,
Jesper are
no,
so
I get,
cool.
you know, I kept thinking when, because there's a scene when you see like, you know, the character just like doing, you know, special skills, and I was like, did the actress actually learn that for the TV show? Did she know how to do it before? You know, I was asking myself that because that's great. That's great. I even thought for a moment that, you know, she was also Muslim, but it's not. I don't think she is. I think she's got another faith, that's like proper original to Shadow and Bone. But Yeah. All power to Nesh.
That's what I'm saying. Like, she was so cool and she didn't even have any powers. I don't know. Like, I don't expect Alina to, because I think the whole point was like, she's just this ordinary girl who just found out that she had an extraordinary power. But it's like, you're not making her interesting. Her power cannot be the only interesting thing about her. Like, where's her personality? Where's dive into the relationship between her and Mal more, not just flashbacks to when they were younger. Like it,
Mm.
I honestly think the Dread Gang, if that's what the name is, her like Inej and
Big gang.
Jesper were better. I don't know. I don't remember their name, but that gang basically, them two, Jasper and Inej, were way more interesting. Like even them
Yeah.
three, even like they were way more capable, way more interesting. They were the main characters. They're also the main characters too. But like they were way more interesting, and I don't like that because it's like even though they're the characters, they're not the main characters, and that doesn't make sense how they're more interesting than the main character. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's not the case when you watch other shows like The Legend of Korra or Avatar. Avatar, like Aang is interesting, Korra is interesting, and so is everyone else. But like, I don't know. It was just I feel like they could have done better. They could have just wrote their characters better, and I feel like I wasn't convinced about the differences. And I do agree they should have had more East Asian characters because we got to see everyone else. Like it just seemed a bit like the diversity was alright, but it could have been better.
Yeah, it was like they were not like completely invested into it. Like it was a bit like a homework that was quickly done. Do you get what I mean? And when like they filmed in Ireland, and I get that in Ireland there isn't many like diverse community and stuff like that. But then you've got the whole UK.
That's
There
what
are
I was gonna say.
so many excellent
Most of
actors
the
that
cast
you
is
could pick to
English.
make the TV show like rich in diversity.
Yeah, like most of the cast is English, not to mention some of the cast members, like the extras, they're from different parts of Europe. So I was like, so you just couldn't get people from
And you know what?
other.
Something else that kind of like bothered me, yeah, is we started my friend and I, because I'm not like now more than before. I'm constantly like looking out for like like different like minorities. I mean, I don't like saying minorities because I don't like this word, but I'm saying Asian, Latino, East Asian, South Asian, Black, characters and actors in a TV show or a film I'm watching. And so I'm watching Shadow and Bone, and I'm like trying to spot Black women. So I'm like, oh, a Black woman. Oh, cool. She does fire. Oh, she died. Cool. Oh, a Black woman. Oh, cool. Oh, no, she's just helping the protagonist. It was mostly like that. It's just really
It was a
frustrating.
bit shit. Yeah, it was quite like yeah, I was a bit disappointed too. I was like, two black women and they're what recurring characters, and then the only black person you have on there who is Jesper, and he's light skinned. So I'm just like,
Yes. I mean, even though his character is
well
great,
done.
but it's like,
And then it's kind of like you get an East Asian girl and she's white passing, like, and we don't even know. Because if I don't know, or if I didn't know until I did a Wikipedia search, what is it going to be like for everyone else? They're not going to know. And I'm not saying she doesn't deserve roles, but I think we have to be realistic here that, like, you have very Eurocentric beauty features. Features.
mm,
And it's like, okay, but it probably would have been better to got someone who was more visibly East Asian, especially now
yeah,
with everything that's going on. And
mm,
with Mal, I'm sorry, I'm not convinced that Mal is mixed race, or like Mal could be mixed race because you can be white passing and mixed race, but it's like you couldn't get someone else who was darker, you know,
mm, mm,
like someone who physically looked different to the other children in the orphanage
yeah,
and in
yeah.
general. Like,
I
how
felt,
did they look? I don't
I
know.
felt like he was maybe like Hispanic or something. That's kind of like the vibe that I got from him.
I did a
Yeah.
Wikipedia search too, and I found out that his half Indo-Aryan, so like of South Asian descent. South Asian and
Wow.
European descent. I'm not sure. Yeah, and I was like,
Wow.
well, we wouldn't have known
Wow.
if we.
No, he literally doesn't seem like yeah, he just looks like he's Latino or Hispanic. This wow.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess the other question I have then is, what did you think of the plot? Did you? And you've read the book, so would you say
Um
it's a good adaptation or not?
so I didn't read the first book. I'm reading the second book. I think the story was good enough that you would want to like binge the whole TV show, which I did with my friend, you know. Um, and for me it had kind of like a beginning, middle, and end. Even though like it is like a bit, how can I say this? Um, there were moments when I was like, it seems like it moved a little bit too fast, or like there wasn't like quite a structure to it, you know. But then you kind of dismiss it because overall it's fine. But then when you look closer, then there's some things that you can just, you know. What about you?
I felt like it was entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
Some things were a bit rushed too, like her time at the palace. I know they did a time jump, but like a lot happened, and I don't think 8 episodes were enough for it. I feel
Mm-hmm.
like the plot could have even been a bit more simple.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I feel like because they also talked a lot about relationships, it's either the how do I say it? I don't think 8 episodes is enough to cover everything that they wanted to cover, because because they also tried to emphasize the importance of their relationships, but you
Mm-hmm.
didn't you invested more to the plot than to their relationships. So, like, you probably shouldn't have done that. Like, you've
Yeah.
got 8 episodes. They're not like a K-drama where it's like an hour and like 20 minutes. They're like 40 minutes. That was not a long
Yeah. Yeah.
time. So
No,
it's
I
like,
definitely, I definitely agree. Like the plot, the cast, like they really like they sold it really well. Like watching the trailer and everything. So you would have made like 12 episodes or something of an hour each. I would have watched it.
because that would have been enough time for them to kind of like talk more about the relationships and get the plot going. Because the plot
Mm.
was good, it worked, and there was one bit that was a bit random, like the relationship, the side plot between the Grisha and the witch hunter. I was like, how does this relate to everything that's going on?
Yes, yes.
like,
I
like
asked myself the same. I asked myself the same. Like I was appreciative that we were getting different storylines. Because that's kind of like how it works. You've got the protagonist, and then in the other sideline, Inesh's gang, and then we've got like there's Heartrender, and Heartrender are basically people who like they manipulate your heart, like your heartbeat and stuff. And the witch hunters are basically like people who hunt Grisha, so people with superpowers. And yeah, so Grisha and the witch hunter end up having a relationship together. And I don't know, maybe in the second book it's going to be key. Who knows? We have to piece it all back together. I kind of want to give
true.
this show like the benefit of the doubt. Do you get what I
It's
mean?
not terrible though. It's not terrible, but I did think like they all related. The other two stories related perfectly
Yeah,
to
yeah,
each
yeah.
other. You know what I mean? Like, but that one, I was like, what is this got to do with anything? It's
It is.
nice, but like, it started halfway through, and I was like, okay, what are we gonna do with this? You know what I mean? Like, what's gonna happen with this? I don't know. I didn't hate liked it, but how does this relate to anything? Like,
Yeah.
when you watch other shows and there's a side plot that you think doesn't relate, and then it actually relates. Where
Mm-hmm.
does this tie in with everything else? Maybe in
Maybe,
series
maybe,
two,
maybe that's
because
maybe that's how it's going to be. Like it will
yeah, because
tie
the
in at like
ending.
an unexpected moment.
No, I agree. Because the ending, like, it looked like she was gonna meet with the other main characters, And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, that could make sense. But I don't know. I think basically I'm just a bit disappointed. I had high expectations, that's all. It's not terrible. I would
Mm,
say it's worth the watch, but like they have some they have some major improvements they can do to really
mm,
like elevate it, you know? But it's
mm,
like I've watched worse fantasies, so and this isn't one of them. Like I would say it
yeah.
was pretty good, but like I don't know. I just think it's the diversity bit was a bit lacking, and I
Mm-hmm,
think it's kind of just like maybe I've just become more critical because of like lockdown. But I do just kind of feel like if we're gonna get like main characters, they need to be interesting. Because I've watched
mm-hmm.
quite a few shows where it's like you're the main character and I don't like you. Like not that I don't like you, but like you're the main character, but you don't interest me. I watched it with Vampire Diaries. Like I did not like Elena. I thought she was a boring character. I was like, stop trying to
She
sell us a
was
boring
way too
character.
repetitive. She was way too repetitive.
She was boring. She was boring. I was like, are you the main character? You're boring.
Do you
But
know who I really liked in Vampire Diaries?
what?
Caroline.
Caroline was more interesting and Bonnie.
And
Like
yeah, yeah, Bonnie
they
as
were
well.
more
But I think
interesting.
I really like Caroline because like I was so focused on her because I really wanted her to get with Klaus.
I
Klaus.
think most
Oh
people
my
did.
god.
Most people just
The
I get with clouds. I was like,
um
okay. I
the
was like, okay.
like the episode when they got together. I
Mm.
was so happy. I actually screamed in front of my laptop.
Oh
That
wow.
I
Like,
was no.
but you know what I mean? But like it's like that. It's just like I'm sick and tired of watching shows where I don't think you're interesting. I don't blame the actress. I just think they did not write her to be interesting, and they didn't write her to have like a backbone. As like, especially with everything that she's gone through, you expect her to have more of a backbone like Mal does, you know. And
Mm,
I kind of just felt like their relationship was boring too. I was like,
mm.
what? I get why how you're family, but you're not really showing us why you're family. You
Yeah,
ran away together when you're young, okay? So what are the trials and tribulations you had when you were together? You know, it's
yeah,
not
yeah.
convincing. It's not convincing. I was just a bit like, I don't know. And I just think it's kind of like, I guess I'm repeating myself, but I do feel like they should have casted someone who was looked
More
more
like
East Asian. It might,
East
yeah,
Asian. Yeah, yeah, definitely.
yeah. It would have been
Well,
a good opportunity for them anyway. But yeah.
yeah, definitely. Well, you do know what show I would compare Shadowbone to? I would compare it to The Irregulars, because The Irregulars, is filmed in London, and the protagonist is also East Asian, but she's evidently East Asian. But then we have the same problem of we don't have any other East Asian actors in the whole TV show for the whole season. And
That's
then
what I
there's
was put
also like
off.
a group of three. There's also like a group of three, and her sister happens to be completely white, which is understandable with the storyline, but and then within the group friend, there's like one light skinned boy. Yeah, he's black, but
Oh.
he's light skinned.
As
Again,
that's why I was put off because it was like, "Have you watched the Irregulars?" I was like, "No." I saw the cast and I wasn't interested. I
yeah,
actually put me off because it's like this is the second fantasy that Netflix has, and I was like, "Still, this is not good enough." Then the Winx Club nonsense that was a mess, and it's like you got a dark skinned black girl, but you ruined everyone else, and you literally
which show?
Winx Club, the remake, the
Oh
live
yeah,
re that
yeah,
was
yeah, yeah.
rubbish. That
I
is
did. I did.
terrible.
I haven't watched it. I haven't
Don't
watched
watch
it.
it. I was
Okay,
like,
thank God. I won't.
no,
I
don't watch
won't.
it. Like, it was so stupid. I'm sorry. Like, and everyone was like, oh, they got the black girl right. I was like, this is terrible because we don't we want the black girl to do well, but everyone else. And it's like they were supposed to give us like Y2K fashion because that's when the Winx Club was made in the early 2000s. Nothing. The black girl was literally there just to help Bloom. I was like, that's not our
Yeah,
role
no,
as
no.
black
I
girls.
hate it when
Like,
they use black characters like that. It's just
that's
really
no, I'm not
annoying.
serving anyone. Like, no, I'm not doing that. And I know a lot of black people who don't even have many, especially black girls who don't have many white friends. So how does this even reflect real life?
Mm,
Like, not to say there aren't people who do really do the most for their white friends, which is like, okay, fair enough. But like,
mm,
I know a handful of black girls, not even a handful, more than that, who don't have many white friends. So it's like,
mm-hmm,
this doesn't even reflect reality, and that's not even our role. Like,
mm-hmm.
support Bloom as a friend, but she needs her own character. Like,
Yeah,
that's not, no. Like, that was like, no, like, give her that. Like, that's not, no. But it was dead. It was terrible. And it was weird too, because it's like, it was supposed to be a fantasy.
yeah,
I'm going off topic, but like, it was supposed to be a fantasy, but like, it wasn't. Like, the fairy world literally mimicked England. I was like, what the hell? What is this? And they'll talk about like all the fairies there will be
yeah.
talking
Because
about
the
secondary school. I was
cartoon
like,
was a hit. I loved the cartoon back when I was a kid, you know. And you know,
exactly.
in the Wings, the TV show didn't have any
They
wings.
didn't know. They
You
didn't have any
know,
wings. They didn't
which
have
is so
much
cool.
power.
That's so cool. And the school is actually like up in the air. Where was it?
Exactly. It wasn't there. It was just basically like no imagination ever, no like world building. Because I
No.
was like, why are they talking about secondary school? They're fairies. Who has you're a fairy? What secondary school are you having? They just made no effort whatsoever to actually make it like a mythical realm.
Well,
Like
you
I
know,
was like, we
apparently it was directed or written by the person who actually created the wings. So, don't
are
know.
you
Maybe it was the budget. You know, I don't know.
even with a small budget, you probably could make something decent. I'm just like, you made
Yeah,
wings and then you made this. Ah, that's not good. That's
that's true.
terrible.
That's true.
Like,
But yeah, personally, like going back to Shadow and Bone, I'd say that my conclusion is it's a TV show that's worth the watch, but I think it's important, you know, for everyone, regardless of your skin color, your ethnicity, is to sometimes just wonder, you know, could they have done like a better job in the diversity department, you know? And for this TV show, yes, absolutely, you know. But then who knows? They might actually improve, you know, with the second season or the third season, you know. Well, let's not wait until the fourth season because that would be a joke.
that would be
Um, but
imagine
yeah,
that.
how much are you giving for diversity?
I would say in terms of diversity, I will give it a 5.
Out of
Because
10?
yeah, out of 10. Because it's like, yeah, you've got people of color, especially as the main characters, and you did a good job to make them impressive. But it's like it's not enough, and
Mm,
especially when Alina is supposed to be, you're hinting that she's East Asian, or she just physically looks different to everyone else. Getting someone who's white passing and basically doesn't look different from the extras who are mostly white,
yeah,
it's, as well as Mal, because it's the same for both of them,
yeah,
doesn't, it's not convincing enough. And you really could have, like, it's not like there's not East Asians who visibly look East Asian in the UK. There are. So you
yeah,
could have actually hired someone, you could have hired someone else, or you could have made up a difference that
yeah,
wasn't offensive, obviously,
yeah, definitely.
because it's a fantasy. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. How much would it give it for, you know, the whole TV show?
I'll give it a 6.5/7. I don't give anything out of a 10. Nothing's a 10. So I would say it's like a 6 to a 7. It's pretty good. Like, it's
Mhm.
pretty good. Like, the writing is good. Like, it's not bad. It was really entertaining. And I was like, right, I'm going to keep watching this. So I was never bored. But with that being said, like I said, it has the potential to be really, really good. And if they
Mhm.
tweaked some of it, it would have been a lot better.
Mm, mm, mm. No, definitely, I agree. Personally, for the diversity, I agree with you. For me, it's the 5 as well. For the same reasons, you know, and also, you know, there could have been other people who were Asian. You know, this was an opportunity to really like bring in a more diverse cast. But in the second bit, there's actually two main East Asian characters. So maybe this time there won't be white passing. We shall see. We shall see. But yeah, and for the actual TV show, I give it 7.5. 7.5 out of 10 because I enjoyed myself. I really liked it. I squealed a lot, you know, for the scenes between, you know, Alina and the Darkling.
Me too. I did too. I was like, when they kissed, I was like, ha ha.
Yeah. Very good sexual tension between the two of them. So, yeah. But yeah, so thank you so much for being on here on this live. That was amazing. And I'll also post it on my YouTube channel, you know, so everyone can see the goodness that you shared here. Yeah, everyone follow Chizoba's social media. Did I pronounce it right? Chizoba. Chizoba. It's
the O. It's literally the O that people get. It's like,
Chizoba.
Yeah, it's like
Chizoba.
Don't even pronounce the O. Like it's like Chizoba. Like, but people put emphasis on the O. And I'm like, no, don't put emphasis on the O. Like, just forget it's even there. Well, actually, don't forget it's there. But like,
Chizoba.
Yeah, Chizoba. Just quickly, yeah.
Okay. So guys, make sure to follow the social media platform as Chizoba, and yeah, that was amazing. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. This was fun, and yeah, it was nice to talk about films because not many people have watched Shadow and Bone. They haven't. Like, so
that's
have you watched
crazy
it? No,
it's actually worth your time. It's actually worth
it is. Yeah, they're like, I'm on Netflix. I was like, it's on Netflix. Like, you've not seen it advertised, but either way. But like, I'm happy you did. I was like, wait, I'll do this with you. Like, I watched it.
Thank you so much for reaching out. Thank you so much. Honestly, like, I really welcome people reaching out to me, you know, in my DMs or anything, you know, to just like hop on. You know, because it's that spontaneity that I'm really looking for, you know.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I really appreciated it. Yeah,
of course. Have a great evening.
You
Take care of
too.
yourself.
Bye.
Bye.